Right, I'm here with Vickii Elizabeth Stocker today. That's Vickii with two eyes, by the way. Yeah. And we're going to, obviously we can talk about stuff you've been doing. You did a performance with AudioStage. How did that go?
I did. Yeah, it was really good. Obviously it was a bit daunting for me just because it was the first video, raw video that I've done of, performing my originals in 3-4 years.
Oh,
Long time. So, I was a bit on edge about it, but it was amazing. Really nice experience. And the way you've set up everything as well was just really great.
Yeah, it's a funny little room.
It is.
Yeah. People say they do feel quite comfortable in it though, because it's just like, it's a bit...
it's the fairy lights and everything, made to relax you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, I was going to say, why haven't you done anything for 3 or 4 years? That's quite a long time.
It's a bit of a weird one, really, just because I've been out and about doing open mics. At one point, I ran an open mic, and that was really, really cool. But I always had that view on my own songs that they just weren't good enough, and I never used to perform my own originals. And at an open mic, you don't really want to do your originals, do you? People want to hear covers and sing along.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of been focusing on that and doing the odd festival and gig here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I lost my confidence along the way as well. But it's always been there. It hasn't. I just never really pursued on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made it bigger.
It's really strange actually you say about losing your confidence on that sort of thing, because do you think there's anything that contributed towards that, or is that just like, you just sort of went, well, I'm not doing any originals at the moment, and you just sort of fell out of habit of it? I
think working a lot didn't really help on that. I was doing every hour under the sun, working in a restaurant and working evenings and not being able to get to gigs, and I still don't drive as well, so being able to get to places is quite tough for me. So I think that played a big part in me not singing as much. I don't really know. I just kind of lost my love for it a little bit. But, it's always going to be there, and I'm always going to do it. So I think it's one of those things where it's second nature. You get back into it and you just automatically fall in love with it again. Yeah,
definitely. Well, it's quite interesting, actually, because obviously, we've looked at your first video's gone out by the time this goes up, and it's already gone out. We're doing this quite late, but
last minute.
Got a couple of days to edit it in. So, but one day, but we it's interesting because the response from the people that, obviously I call them fans, the people that listen to your music, are it's that people have almost missed you in a sense, actually, which has actually been really nice. And people going, "Oh, I didn't know you were still sort of doing stuff." And I think you've had a great response so far.
It's been really overwhelming, actually. People that I haven't spoken to in a long time have popped up and said how amazing it is to see me sing again, and kind of see something almost new for me, because it has been so long. People have sort of not seen me sing live in front of a camera in a very long time, and it's sort of become this exciting new thing for my family as well. They've not been able to see that, and I've got a lot of family. Have you noticed that there's many cousins and family members on there that have all kind of popped up, and that's really nice as
well. They're just like, just good to see that you're okay.
Nice to see you doing well.
Nice to see you doing all right. Exactly. Well, it's interesting you talk about, you were saying about how you work in lots and sort of that sort of thing. I'm doing this, so I've got a full-time job. Do you find that you sort of, you're deliberately having to make time to try and do music a lot of the time?
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I wish I didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
I got to a point in my life last year where I had my evenings free, Fridays and Saturdays, and I was able to come to an open mic whenever I wanted and not have to book off the evening. I'm at work, and actually had the freedom to do that. Whereas now I'm back in restaurant work, and I've kind of taken a step back and got myself into a situation where I am working all the time. But it doesn't mean to say that I don't love that. It's just it has its sacrifices, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say, you know, we've obviously, I've known you a very long time. For anyone that doesn't know, you know,
years?
I think that's got to be verging
9
on. Yeah,
years?
like 9, 10 years. Yeah, yeah, long time.
Long time.
Yeah. You know, and I've seen you. You know, I suppose I say grow as a musician. You know, I think that when we met, we went to college together, and you know, that it was something really, you know, you stood out as an individual, definitely, in what you did, and I knew you were doing a lot of like YouTube stuff, and you had a really good SoundCloud presence. You know, obviously those sorts of things are absolutely fantastic, and they have a great way of getting your stuff out there. Is that something that you think has helped you to sort of like continue to do music, because you might not necessarily have the time to gig in a sense?
Yeah, I'd say so. SoundCloud, definitely. Not so much nowadays because I don't really put a lot of content on there. But yeah, a few years ago, a lot of people would listen to my songs on there. And YouTube, again, I've kind of lacked on that side as well. But it's just all about getting the right equipment as well nowadays, isn't it? You can't really just put a home video out there and expect it to go really far. You know, you never know, but
well, you do never know with these things.
It is all about having the right equipment and being able to source that as well. So it's not out of the question. I think I need to rebuild everything that I have, all the platforms that I do have, and create them and build them up from scratch again. And kind of do it completely differently, and I think to see where that goes. And you know, you know, I know a lot of musicians that have done it, and I can take the way they do it as well, and kind of learn from their experiences. And kind of just embark on it that way.
Definitely. I
need to really just kind of focus on it more.
You're like making commitments to me. You're like, look, I'm gonna get back into it. I promise.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting, really, because I mean, you know, when you did your performance for us, you did, you know, some original tracks. I think you did. Was it one cover and 2 original tracks? And it's interesting to hear how your original music sounds, because I definitely think it's a lot different to the way you used to write your music. Obviously, I sort of want to touch on that and, you know, talk about where these sorts of influences come from. Because, I remember you had quite varying influences before, but, you know, those sort of like still stayed, and who you...
Yeah, so when I first started singing properly, it was when I was around 16 years old, and... You know, I'd done talent shows at schools with my best friend back then, and I was always sort of singing in a duo, and I was never always on my own. It got to being 16, and sort of turned around to my parents and was like, right, I think I'm going to learn guitar. And they were like, no, you're not. Let's see how long this lasts, kind of thing. So they got me a guitar, and I've kept it ever since. I've had various different guitars since then as well, and they've all gone, and kind of kept this one. But I always listen to a person called Sarah Bareilles, and she's amazing. And
she is.
Don't quite so much listen to a lot of her stuff nowadays, but she was a really big influence on the way I sing and my range, and the tones as well. And I just loved everything about her. One of her albums, I can't remember what it was called, but it had Love Song on, and what's the other one? I can't remember. It's been that long.
Trying to block it out on the top of your head. Yeah, it's hard.
And she was a really big influence on why I sing anyway now. And I sort of wrote songs, and looking back at them now, you kind of think, what was I thinking? That does not even make sense. That doesn't even go. Why did I even think that was cool? And since then, I have started writing my songs about other people and their situations. I don't really write about myself. I think it, you know, reveals too much. I think it kind of, some of them are about me. And I think in one of the songs as well that you'll see on what we've recorded is actually about one of my situations, and you can sort of see the emotion in that one more. Because it's kind of hard to not let on.
Absolutely.
But a lot of my songs are about other people, whether they're my family or my friends, and write about their situations. And I kind of find it easier that way, you know. It's kind of, it's not cool when someone's having a bad time, and I've kind of gone to, I've written a song about it. I hope you don't mind, but
I think that in a sense it's quite nice. You're like, you've got a lot of empathy, obviously, for other people's situations, which is great. And I think that's really interesting, because I mean, a lot of songwriters, they approach their songwriting from personal experiences, which, I mean, it has its own benefits and things. Do you find that when you're performing songs that you react differently to the song that you've written depending on who it's about?
I'd say so. Yeah. I think it depends on what the situation was as well. If it's got a deeper meaning to it as well, you can hear that through my voice, I think, as well. I kind of like to show that, whereas if it was kind of, a funny situation or anything like that, you can kind of tell, I think. But,
definitely. I think that's quite interesting, really, because I mean, you even talk about just like the tone of your voice is different, and the way that you sing will be different. I think that's really you're sort of almost, how you talk about like method acting and stuff like that. Well, those people will get into that frame of mind for a very, very long amount of time. It almost sounds like you're putting on different hats for each song and stuff, and that's really interesting, because it's sort of you almost approach it from a way, maybe like an actor would, different roles in a sense, which I find really interesting. That's not very often you hear of people doing that, and that's something that, I mean, I really like, lots of different music, and I see people like, oh, this is going to be a random one, nothing like you whatsoever. But people like Tom Waits, who just will like, it's like a totally, have this one song where he's like a withered old man, and then like one where he's like big and strong and whatever, and it's like, but it encompasses that through the music, and that's really great. And it's actually something that I think I've sort of like observed without this conversation. I've sort of noticed that you do that. Which I'm glad we're on that same wavelength, and I understand it a bit more. Yeah, definitely. So, in terms of what you're planning to do, I know we sort of like briefly said that, you're not crazy active at the moment.
Not really.
But obviously you're saying that's something you want to do. Is there, have you had thoughts and ideas about things that you potentially want to do in the future, or?
Yeah, no, I've been singing on my own for so long now, and I have always kind of thought at the back of my mind, maybe I should make this bigger. I think I'd feel more comfortable and confident if someone else was on stage with me as well. I think that kind of helps you. If you've been doing it for so long on your own, all you've got is the microphone and the guitar to hide behind, isn't it? But,
absolutely,
I've always kind of said that I'd love to be in sort of a soul, sort of funk band, and jazz it up a little bit, because I listen to a lot of soul and funk, and my brother has created this amazing Spotify playlist that I just it's just insane. I'll link you.
You've got to. We might even put it in the bio of this, like, so people can really get into it.
It's called Feel That Soul.
Feel That Soul. I like it.
But a lot of my influences and the songs that I'd like to sing and that I do listen to has come from this playlist, oddly enough. But I think that'd be super fun and completely different to what I do.
Definitely.
Which will surprise a few people, I think. Because they just know me as an acoustic singer.
That's it. But I think it's interesting, because listening to your voice now, I mean, you've actually sort of really crafted your voice and really worked on it from when we first met. Which, I mean, it's amazing actually how much different, not necessarily different you sound, but how much more technicality and all this sort of thing that you're employing, and your ability to do lots of runs and melismas and things like that is like, I was just like, what? When did you get all this? I remember sitting there and sitting in the back recording it and going, you're a different person now. Like, you've really come on. I say, come on leaps and bounds. It sounds so condescending to say like, oh, well done for working on it. But you see many singers that don't don't do that. You know, sort of like get settled within a certain thing, and it's great to see that you're always wanting to work and always wanting to develop.
I always think, you know, there's always room to improve, always, and there's always new techniques that you can learn, and you do learn them as well from listening to various different artists and picking that up, and thinking, oh, that'd be so cool if I could do that. Let's try this. And then many failed attempts in the kitchen or something, and you finally get it and it's there. And it's a proud moment.
Yeah,
it's an achievement that you didn't think you could do. And, you know, you hear someone talk and then it's still mind-blowing to me as well. Yeah. Hearing someone talk and then knowing that they can do something incredible with their voice just by, you know, singing. It's
definitely,
It's amazing.
I think people will see that. I think they'll see that from your performance as well. You know that, like, I mean, people won't be able to compare you to the old stuff, but I mean, like, you know, that you've got a hell of a voice, you know, and it's really been really impressive. You know, obviously we touched on, you know, sort of like wanting to form a band. Is that something where you'd be doing like original music, or is it, you know, covers?
Yeah, I'd like to. I think because writing songs is a big part of what I do anyway. Yeah. I think it wouldn't feel right if I just did covers. I think if I was to do a band, it'd have to solely be originals, and then throw a random cover in there, you know, on a gig, you know, to kind of bring the audience
bring
in,
it back
sing
in.
along, you know. Everyone loves a good cover. But I think if I was to go into a band, I'd have the intention of writing all the songs and making it original.
I like how you said "if." Do you know what? The last few, I mean, like, interviews you've done, people don't want to commit to anything. Like, you know, they're going, "Oh, well, I might do this, I might do that," and it's like, yeah, no. To be honest, I would love to see you in a band. I'd love to see.
I'd be up for it. It's just if I could get the time that I have under control and find that time, and you know, everyone has time to find. If you really want it, then you'll go do it. You know, you'll make it happen. And I think, if that can get under control, I'd so be up for that.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's it. We're gonna have to see you in a band soon.
That's it. Yeah. Series 3.
Series 3. Yeah, we're gonna have Vickii back on to do her band. No, but in all seriousness, that's something we would love to have happen. Because, you know, I love hearing your music, love listening to what you do, and you know, you've just gone from strength to strength, basically, I think, with your music. And it's interesting that you've sort of, as you say, you've not necessarily put loads and loads of time into it, and you've sort of like treated it as, I say, a hobby, really. Yeah, in a sense.
I think people ask me sometimes, you know, if you were gonna go somewhere with it, would you pursue it, you know, professionally? Would you, you know, really put yourself out there? And I think, in all honesty, I would have done that a long time ago if I really wanted that. But it is the love that I have for it and the passion that I would, you know, that I will continue to do, because I like to go to an open mic every now and then and write a random song and pick up a guitar and sing with some friends. I think that's the beauty in it. You know, I'll never lose that. Yeah,
I think that's great, to be honest. And it's not like you're you're just chasing that record deal and stuff like that, which I think has a habit of destroying people's creativity in a sense. And I think because you don't put that pressure and those constraints on yourself, what you're doing is you're actually saying, I'm free to do my music how I want to do it.
Definitely. You know, and admire the people that, you know, do make that happen and, you know, really go for it. And I think everyone's just different in that sort of sense, aren't they?
Definitely. Yeah. That was very diplomatic of you. That's it. They're going to be like, we've got to get you to say something controversial. Like, I hate these people. Yeah. No. You're not a controversial person.
No.
When the cameras are off, however.
Wow. Different story.
Different story. Yeah. But no, it's great, because I think there's so many people in the scene, especially, that respect what you do, which is amazing. You know, and you're one of those people that, you know, we put the video up and you've got lots of people have great response for it, you know, and they've really enjoyed what you've put up, which is brilliant. And I think, you know, we'll continue to obviously watch what you do, and you know that's something that I think is really important, that we continue to support you, because I think your music really does what encompasses what we're about. You know, that not that sort of like corporate world and trying to chase things, but
I've had a lot of feedback on the way that it was shot, and you know, the sound of it as well, and everyone has said nothing but positive things. You know, they've sort of said, I like how it's raw, that you can see you just performing, and there's nothing else around you that, you know, that distracts us. And I think that was really nice as well, that the people can notice that, and how it is just the person singing. The way it's shot, really, and it does have a big part in it. So
but no, that's great feedback, to be honest. It's great. But I think you as we continue to watch you and, you know, see what you're doing. Well, I hope you have a band that you want to do. It'd be great to see you in a band. You know, and if not, you know, it'd be great to just see you continue to do your music, because, I mean, as you say, you have been slightly absent for a while. But I think the scene misses you when you're not here.
I miss them.
I miss them. I miss the scene. It's just an imaginary object. The scene.
It is.
It's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. You know, everyone floats in and out. It's not about people. It's about the But
well,
sorry, I almost went off on a tangent like we do on the podcast. It's like, no, we're talking about Vickii here. No, it's great talking to you and getting more of an insight to your music, and you know, I hope that, you know, we can see more from you in the future.
Watch this space. I guess.
Absolutely. And your full set will be going up next week, obviously. So exciting times. And it's been great talking to you today. And we'll definitely have you back at some point when you've got, you know, when you've got your band.
When I've got my band.
The band's going to be on here. Is it going to be the Vickii Elizabeth Stocker band, or?
Probably not.
Probably not. No. That's all right.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Just add band on the end.
Just
of
like
my name.
this is all about me. If you didn't know. But so you're going to get into a laughing fit. This is Vicki's thing. She has laughing fits.
That is, that's me.
But obviously, where can we find you? That's one of the most important things.
At the moment,
I don't want your address.
Where you can find me at it. At the moment, you can find me on Instagram a lot. I like to post up little little teasers. I think Instagram's a really good platform to have at the moment, because if you don't want to put the whole song out, it's a good way to kind of like bring people in a little bit.
Definitely.
Facebook, it gets shared on there too. That's about it, really. But so just find me on Instagram or Facebook, really.
On Instagram or Facebook. And what's your Instagram?
Vickii Elizabeth.
Vickii Elizabeth.
With 2 I's. VICKII.
Okay, awesome. VICKII Elizabeth. Awesome. Yeah. So people, I'm sure you'll get some follows. Maybe. People watch it this far. Do people watch the videos this far? I don't know. Maybe. If you do, drop us a comment. And also go and follow Vickii. We'll obviously, you know, keep up to date with what you're doing, and I encourage everyone to go and follow your pages and see what you're getting up to. But obviously this will be your full set will be out next week, so we can't wait. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.